Back in 2021 I did a full review retrospective on a game with the Kitty series, which is mostly done solo by Björn Politz aka Origami Hero, also known from Treasure Hunter Man Duology, Drowning Cross, Starlight Alliance and many more. It is an underappreciated collection of whimsical adventure platformers starring kitties, and I did say at the end of it that whenever something new to the franchise comes, I'll be there. And something new indeed has arrived. Back in the same year of 2021. Yeah, I had my problems with the computer at the time. It had problem with recording footage, so yeah, I should have done this a lot sooner, but you know. So let's get into this long overdue review of Unstrong Space Calamity. This game is more accurately continuation for the 2014 spin-off title Unstrong, that chronicles the shenanigans of the evil genius Glasses Unstrong, a recurring antagonist who, during that game's event, saw the error of her ways and was a full-on friend in the previous entry, Heartchain Kitty. Well, more accurately, Space Calamity is a follow-up only in characters and tone, as gameplay has switched from 2D to 3D and setting-wise seems to be inspired by Super Mario Galaxy games, but I haven't played those so I can fully verify that. The reason space travel is involved is because the whole world suddenly exploded as Glasses' expositions after having drifted in the breathable void of space for a couple of days. At this point though, she has canonically exploded at least 2 moons, so she kind of had it coming. As the dialogue snippets indicate, this game has kept the series' trademark, self-aware but in an endearing well-starred comedy with 2000s meme-like writing structure, and generally is a return to form after Heartchain Kitty went to explore darker themes. Well, there is some of that here as well, but it is mostly marinated with humor that, to be fair, doesn't always gel that well. Soon Glasses gets on a world debris where she constructs a temporary base and decides to travel through the fragmented galaxy to figure out what might have caused the current predicament. To help her with that, she encounters a happy-go-lucky star child Flounder, and the chemistry between him and Glasses' awkward balancing between her villainy tics and being a functioning member of the society creates is decently enough built. Moreover, Flounder works as her main method of attacking enemies by blasting him to their faces and getting a hold of floating orbs or collectibles, similar to how another Star Child was used in an earlier 2D platformer game with a Kitty 5 Smash Star! Except this time it's more reliable because there are separate buttons for shooting straight forward and shooting at the nearest target, which is crucial for traversing and in boss battles, which kind of makes the former option rather pointless. Yeah, it does ease going through the game quite a lot, but I take that over Smash Stars unpredictability any day. The title has an exclamation point. Don't look at me like that. Thus, Glasses and her stellar companion use a space scooter to travel to different floating space rocks, acting as the game's levels, meeting all types of query characters. Returning ones including the familiar Kitty community with the regular main character Kitty doing a 1-level cameo, and Glasses' evil but not in a fun way genius father Alphonse III. At least he now uses proper pronouns from his daughters, so progress, I guess? Further darker hues to the whimsy are introduced by Alphonse's partner in crime Kyo of the Stars, a cosmic entity who seems to have shared past with Flounder. In contrast to the previous game's antagonist who was a tragic figure driven mad by grief, Kyo is a gleeful psychopath who wishes to feed the sun to cause destruction across the galaxy. And you better complete an important side mission or otherwise it's heat death of the universe, baby! Sure, his motivations are vague and his inclusion in this specific game is a bit of a tonal whiplash, but in spite of that, Kyo is an intriguingly intimidating addition to Kitty vs. Comeback roster. The overall story isn't that plot twist filled, and there's not character development, mostly because Glasses already completed her character arc in the previous Unstrong game. But overall, the whimsical tone and writing and entertaining characters compensate for that. Which is kind of reflective of the mechanics side as well. Aside from star throwing, Glasses doesn't have other skills aside from gracefully rotating while running, which can be used to unscrew screws, and that's it. Such an odd contrast to the first Unstrong, where the user gadgets gotten throughout the game's length to compensate for a lack of physique. I mean, her genius was put on more use in Heartsane Kitty, where Kitty used gadgets she made. What however prevents this game from becoming repetitive is good level design that sometimes can be too big, but offers a wide selection of platforming challenges and introduces new level gimmicks in intervals like magnetized walls, high-speed running segments and so on, not to mention levels being small space rocks allow some creative use of changing gravity. There's not much enemy variety however, nor in the tactics needed during bosses, where in every single one of them you have to bounce red energy pellets back to do damage, but in the latter case their attack patterns vary enough for it not to be a huge deal. Though I'm not sure about this music choice. I mean, it's my favorite piece from the soundtrack, but perhaps too moody for the game's lighthearted tone. Generally, music has improved from Heartsane Kitty with better instrument choices, though I'm not 100% sure if Mr. Politz fully composed it, because there's no credits. Sound effects, however, are anemic, but that has been a constant problem throughout the franchise. Overall, Unstrong Space Calamity has managed to stay in the stellar quality requirements that the series has managed to get itself into starting from mid-2010s. While not having as much variety mechanics as in some of the earlier entries, the game offers a stellar package of dreamlike whimsy with decent selection of platforming, and has managed to make some improvements in music and graphics department, where models don't look as wax-like as in the previous 3D outing. I still prefer Heartsane Kitty for its better story and sense of adventure, but Space Calamity can be entertaining 15 hours if you don't expect it to be anything more than a competently made piece of software. Whenever the series is able to uphold the quality or not, it doesn't matter, because I'm intrigued enough of its well-crafted world and colorful cast of eccentric critters that I shall be looking at what's going on in their escapades as long as they keep coming. At least as long as my budget allows, because plot twist, there has been 2 new games released of the series since then. Heartsane Kitty All Screwed Up in 2023 and Kitty 64 in 2024. But the problem is that at the time of this video's release, both of them are only available on Switch. And as much as I am a self-proclaimed kitty connoisseur, I think it's wiser that I don't invest on a new console in my current financial situation. But Origami Hero's role-playing game White Eternal was recently released on Steam after being almost a year on Switch, so there is still hope left that I'll find a more budget-friendly solution to my conundrum. Until that happens though, I can get to experience what it felt like if I lived in that alternate reality where Rayman Legends stayed Wii U exclusive.